Welcome everyone. My name is Samantha Wentz. I am the event specialist here with Beam. And on behalf of Beam Benefits, I'd like to welcome and thank you all for joining today as we cover the future of disability benefits, a broker's guide on Beam Disability powered by the Hartford. So as we get started today, we have just a couple of items that I want to note with you all. You are all muted. The chat feature is disabled as well, but please, if you have any questions at any point, you are welcome to submit them to the Q&A feature located in your toolbar found at the bottom of your screen. And then for any questions we don't get to at the end of the session today, we will make sure that one of our team members follow up with you. And as usual, after the webinar, we will send out a recording. So next, I want to just hit on quickly. These are the topics we're going to touch on today: disability insurance and coverage, introducing Beam Disability, some broker tips to sell disability insurance, and then the aforementioned Q&A. All right, so now we have our speakers. We have two wonderful ladies today: Sue Reinhardt, our Senior Insurance Product Manager, and Kendra Reynolds, Associate Insurance Product Manager, who are going to start us off by introducing themselves. So Sue, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. Hello, everyone. I'm Sue Reinhardt. As Sam said, I'm the Senior Insurance Product Manager here at Beam Benefits, and my role here is to manage Beam's insurance product offerings, which includes developing new products as well as enhancing our existing products. Prior to joining Beam, I worked on the carrier side in the employee benefits business for over 35 years, and I've held a variety of operational underwriting and leadership positions. I'm very excited to be here today and for the opportunity to tell you all about our new disability offerings today. I'll turn it over to Kendra to introduce herself and get us started.
Thanks, Sue. So as Sam mentioned, my name is Kendra Reynolds, and over the past 2 years after joining Beam, I initially started out as a sales enablement manager, concentrating on increasing product knowledge with our insurance products and also enhancing sales skills and competencies with our revenue org. Recently transitioned into the realm of insurance product, where my responsibilities will match Sue's, and that will include both expanding our product offerings and improving their overall fit and effectiveness for Beam and its members. So super excited to chat with you a little bit today about disability. So to kick us off, we're going to talk a little bit about disability insurance and coverage types. But a poll question to get us started is on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being not at all familiar and 5 being extremely familiar. How well do you feel you know disability insurance? So going to pause and let some roll in with the polls.
Going, and I will let you know our results in just a moment.
Interested to see.
Yeah. I think that's probably about it. So we're climbing here, but it looks like for the most part, we have about 83% responded, and most people feel that they are moderately familiar, which lands at around 37%, 38%. And after that, we have people, the next largest group would be our somewhat familiar. So
awesome. So a little variety in knowledge base. I love it. Very interested to chat a little bit more and hopefully educate you a little bit more on disability insurance. So when we're talking about disability insurance, let's talk a little bit about what it is and what it does. So disability insurance provides income replacement if an insured individual is unable to work, typically due to injury, illness, or childbirth. So it's a type of insurance coverage that actually saves or protects against loss of income due to disability. And it is technically available typically through private and public programs. So when we're talking about plan design, when it comes to disability, it varies on availability. And depending on how it's designed, it can change pricing, features, and more. So if you're interested in getting started with a disability quote, make sure you're reaching out to your Beam rep today to get started. So when you're thinking about, okay, so who should get disability insurance, whether you're asking this question for yourself or you're asking for your members or your groups that you're representing. So we have individuals who may not have sufficient savings to replace that lost income if they're unable to work for a period of time. So ask yourself, ask your members in your groups, when you're thinking about considering disability insurance, you have to ask, do you have enough savings to replace your income if you're not able to work for an extended period of time? And when we mean extended period, we're thinking more in terms of months versus a week or so. Now, there's also the workers who may have a longer recovery period before returning to a job that requires a little bit more physical labor. So, in my role as an associate insurance product manager, I am not out there lifting heavy things. I'm not standing in the sun. There's not a lot of manual aspect to my job. So, my recovery time may look a little bit different than someone who does have more physical labor in their job. Then we also have a way to think about this when you want to safeguard your member and your family's income if you're thinking about for yourself. Maybe ask your members and your groups, what other benefits do those employees have access to? Do they have an extensive PTO plan? Do they also have sick leave in their employee benefits? So those would be a couple of questions you want to ask when you're thinking about who should get disability insurance. Now, there are two major types of coverage when we're thinking about disability. So we have short-term disability insurance. Now, in general, this does cover a policyholder for a short period of time and following an injury, illness, or childbirth. Now, what is different about this one is it does pay a weekly benefit to replace a percentage of an individual's income. Now, disability insurance will not replace someone's full income, but it will replace a portion of it on a weekly basis. Now, these payments can be used for a variety of things. So, think about on a daily basis when you get your paycheck, what goes into those bills? What are you doing with that paycheck? So, that could be food, clothing, housing expenses, childcare. What would you need to continuously pay for, even though you may be disabled for the time? Now, because this is a short term plan, the coverage amounts will vary, but a typical term can be between 3 to 6 months. So the benefits actually start quickly and last for a shorter period of time. And if you need a longer income replacement, you can then think about long term disability. Which brings us to our next slide. So, our long term disability, again, goes beyond that short term coverage. So, it does provide benefits and additional funds for a longer period of time. Now, typically, one individual will need to exhaust their short term disability before they can access long term disability. Or in the previous case, you need to exhaust your other options prior to going on long-term disability. So if you have your short-term disability, you've went through PTO, you have your sick leave, exhausted your short-term disability, then you can consider looking at long-term disability. Now, unlike short-term disability, this one provides a monthly benefit to replace a percentage of the individual's income. Now, this percentage can range anywhere between 60-80% typically, up to a maximum for a period of a few years or sometimes until retirement, depending on how that policy is written. Now, the benefits are typically payable for disabilities occurring on or off the job. And then, as we just mentioned, it can vary depending on the policies, just depending on what the individual needs and what it's written as. As with new products, there's specific policy terminology we always want to review, so there's a little bit more familiarity when looking into potential plans for your groups and members. So, starting out with the definition of disability. So, don't think of this as a way on how to describe the disability necessarily, but you want to think about it as what needs to be true in order for a person to qualify for disability insurance. So, every policy has a specific definition of disability that they want to have met in order to qualify. Most of them will require the inability to perform substantial duties of their occupation due to a qualifying disability, and it will require a specified amount loss of income. So it has to typically be both, depending on how the policy is written. Now, we also have the maximum benefit duration. So this actually explains the length of time that the insured member, may be entitled to benefits if they are continuously disabled, as outlined in the policy. So how long is this person going to actually receive payments from the policy? Then we have the benefit percentage. So this is typically chosen to determine how much is paid back to the insured member. So this is a portion of an insured's earnings that are payable by the disability plan. This is stated in a percentage, and you will see typical range from 50 to 70%. So again, disability insurance is built to replace a portion of income. It's not going to replace 100% of that pre-disability income. And then we do have an elimination period. Elimination periods may be a little bit more familiar due to other products, but just as a reminder, this is a length of time from the date of disability to when benefits first become payable under the disability plan. So for long-term disability, you'll typically see this between 60 to 180 days. And I'm going to kick it over to Sue to talk a little bit about comparisons between group and individual policies.
Yes. So in addition to group disability policies, there are also individual policies that are available in the market. So this slide here provides some key differences between group and individual disability insurance. Under a group disability policy, the coverage is typically guaranteed issue for employees who enroll within their initial eligibility period, but there is usually a pre-existing condition exclusion included on the plan, especially for long-term disability plans. Conversely, individual policies require medical underwriting, but they typically do not include a pre-X condition exclusion. Group rates are usually 2 to 3 times cheaper than individual rates, which is a significant advantage over individual policies. Group coverage offers the convenience of access to a disability insurance plan through an employer, whereas individual policies require a formal application process, and the acceptance is based on proof of good health. Group policies typically do not offer a portability or conversion option, whereas personal individual policies aren't tied to employment with a specific employer. Lastly, under employer-paid disability plans, the benefits are subject to taxation, whereas group plans and individual policies that are employee-paid are generally not taxable as income. So there's no right answer as to whether group or individual policies are the best solution. It really depends on the client's needs and personal circumstances. Group policies are generally more limited in coverage options, but they typically have a lower cost, and the guaranteed issue feature can be very appealing. All right, so today we are very excited to announce Beam's new disability offering powered by the Hartford disability products. We're confident that Beam's technology forward approach, backed by Hartford's disability products and top-notch claim service, will be a winning combination for you and your clients. Hartford's disability products are now available in certain states, which Kendra is going to detail later. These plans are accessible on Beam's platform and can be seamlessly integrated alongside our other product offerings. The Hartford disability products now round out Beam's full offering of market standard ancillary products. So very excited. We've designed Beam's disability plans to include customizable features to meet the varied needs of your clients. Our disability offering also includes value-added services, which are provided through the Hartford and their contracted vendors. And Kendra is going to give more details on those a little bit later in the presentation. So let's take a look at some of the plan options that are available under Beam's short and long-term disability. Our plans are broken down into 2 columns here. You have the employer paid with a gross up option on the left side, and then employee choice, or also known as voluntary, on the right side. At this time, we're not offering contributory options. The plan has to be either 100% employer paid or 100% employee paid. We offer maximum benefit durations ranging from 11 weeks to 26 weeks. And these durations are intended to dovetail with our LTD elimination periods. The benefit Payout percentage is 60%, but we also have a 66 2/3 option for employer paid plans for groups with 10 to 100 employees. The benefit maximums we offer range from $300 to $1,500 in increments of $100 for groups that are under 10, and then we go up to a maximum of $2,500 for groups with 10 to 100 employees. The elimination period, or when the benefits begin, can be on the 8th or the 15th day for both accident and sickness. For groups of 10 or more employees, we also offer an option that begins on first day for accident and 8th day for illness. For employer paid plans, we can write groups down to 2 eligible employees. And for voluntary plans, we can write down to 3 participating employees. Our minimum participation requirements fall in line with our other voluntary offerings here at Beam. If you have a group that's 3 to 9 eligible, we require a minimum of 3 to participate. 10 to 49 eligible requires a minimum of 5 to participate, and 50 to 100 requires a minimum of 10 to participate. All right, so let's move on and look at the LTD plan design options. Again, we've got this broken down into 2 product categories, which is employer paid, including gross up plans, and then employee choice or voluntary plans. As with the STD, we do not offer a contributory option on LTD. The plan has to be 100% employer paid or 100% employee paid. We have one option for the maximum benefit duration, which is Social Security Normal Retirement Age, also known as SSNRA. We offer percentage option of 60%, or we can go up to 2/3 replacement income for groups with 10 to 100 employees. Our benefit maximum options are $5,000 or $6,000 for groups under 10, and $5,000 to $10,000 in increments of $1,000 for groups with 10 to 100 employees. Our elimination period choices are 90 or 180 days. And again, on employer paid plans, we can write down to 2 employees, and on voluntary plans, we can write down to 3, same as the short term. And our minimum participation requirements for LTD are the same as STD, requiring 3, 5, or 10 enrolled employees, depending on the group size. What's not represented on this slide are some additional options for definition of disability and the earnings test definition. For definition of disability, 2-year ONOC followed by any occupation is our standard offering. But we are also offering own occupation to Social Security Normal Retirement Age if the group has 10 to 100 employees and it's an employer paid or gross up plan. Our standard earnings test definition is an 80-60, but we also offer an 80-80 option for groups that are 10 to 100. All right, I'll pass it back to Kendra to talk about our state availability.
So the Beam Disability powered by the Hartford product is available in 5 states currently. So we are live in Colorado, Illinois, Ohio, Texas, and in California for long-term disability only. We will have more states live soon in 2024. And if you need a quote, contact your Beam rep for a quote today in any of these live states. So let's talk about the coverage advantage and what does it mean for your clients to have Beam Disability powered by the Hartford. So Beam is your one-stop shop for meeting all your ancillary clients' needs, and it aligns with our other products, which means you can underwrite for groups under 10, so paying close attention to those small groups. Participation that matches our other ancillary product offerings. So if you're starting to hear some of those participation requirements and you're like, feels familiar, that's why. And then we can also expect the same support and implementation with our other products.
Okay, now that we've talked about the products, the plan design options, we're going to share some insights into selling disability insurance. The first tip is to know your client. It's a great practice to research your client's industry size and employee demographics. It's really important to know whether it's common for specific industries to offer disability benefits, so your clients in those industries can maintain a competitive benefits package or even potentially differentiate themselves from their peer companies. For example, it would be typical for like an engineering or an accounting firm to offer disability insurance as part of their employee benefits package. So if you have these types of clients, it's important to advise them that they should include the disability insurance as part of their package to aid in attracting and retaining the best talent. Understand your client's current benefit offerings and any pain points they might be experiencing with their existing plans. If your client currently offers disability, what issues are they facing with the current carrier? Maybe they've had bad experiences with administration or billing or claims service, and it could be an opportune time to look at alternative carrier options. Our second tip is to demonstrate or establish the need for disability insurance. If you have clients that don't offer disability as part of their benefits package, how have they handled replacing a key employee's income when they were out on disability? Maybe they were continuing to pay that employee, out of the company funds. Instead of a self-insurance approach, perhaps a fully insured disability plan is a better, maybe more economical option for them. Or maybe the employee didn't have any replacement income, being able to make their financial obligations. A voluntary disability plan doesn't cost the employer anything, but is a valuable benefit for employees to have access to. Most employees don't even realize protecting their income is a problem until it actually happens to them. I think the bottom line here is to be proactive, talk with your clients about the need for disability insurance, have a conversation about the what ifs to remind them of the importance of having a disability plan. Kendra, any other tips you'd like to share?
Yeah, we have tip number 3, which is customizing plans to the needs of the group. So I think everyone here has realized that every client's situation is unique. So one way to do this is to offer a range of disability insurance plan options, and we can customize these to the demographics of the client's employee population. So you can, as Sue mentioned, offer an employer paid option, a voluntary option, or you can do both. What are you looking for as far as the income replacement percentage? Those are some of the options as Sue was going through plan design that you can customize to maybe make the person feel like this is more relevant to them. So different age groups also have different priorities and concerns as we've seen throughout the years. So you can educate your clients on how plans can be adjusted on some of the above, but also to help your points land when you're bringing these plans to your groups is tailor your pitch to that client employee population. So if you are working with, as we've seen, the younger generations are now making up the majority of the workforce, clients may need a little bit more education on disability insurance if that's not something that they've had access to in prior positions they've held or companies they've worked for. So I think there's also that, as Sue mentioned, you don't need it until you need it, but 1 out of every 4 20-year-olds actually has the ability to become disabled before they turn 67 years old, is one of the statistics that we've found. So that flexibility of having those options available to them and protecting their income on an early on stage will help them with retention and staying a little bit more focused on the needs. So that flexibility will allow employers to choose plans that will align with their employees and make the employees feel like they're being seen and heard. And within the company's budget, most importantly, as well. And then we have simplifying enrollment. So ultimately, the key to successfully some disability insurance plans is to demonstrate how coverage aligns with not only the company values, contributes to the employee satisfaction, and provides that financial protection. So once they see the value, we want to make sure getting the actual insurance is easy. So you want to make the enrollment process as smooth as possible. You also can provide some easy to understand materials, clear instructions, and online tools to help assist with enrollment. So we do have tailored enrollment decks and resources help members understand exactly what they have access to. So understanding the plans directly available to them that make them feel a little bit more confident with their selections. And then also leveraging a digital first approach to streamline benefits from start to finish. And if necessary, a customer support with one phone call or a message to them to get their questions answers about their options.
All right, we've shared a lot of information today, but there are some key takeaways to remember as you're thinking about how to position disability insurance with your clients. Know the facts about disability insurance and the likelihood of a disability happening so you can clearly convey the need for the product. It's important to understand how the product works and the different plan design options so you can effectively customize a disability program that meets the employee needs and the employer's budget. And you'll have the confidence to present Beam's disability offering, knowing that it's backed by the Hartford, a leader in group disability insurance, especially in the small business market. And lastly, I want to remind everyone of the resources that Beam offers to our distribution partners. Our online broker resource center gives you access to Beam's product presentations and marketing collateral, including the information on our new disability offerings. We also have a blog that provides some valuable insights on the latest benefit news and trends. And please also leverage your Beam sales rep. If there is more information you'd like on any of our new disability programs, including any detailed contract definitions, please feel free to reach out to your Beam rep for assistance. So that's the end of our presentation for today. Thanks for your time and attention. I'm going to turn it back over to Sam to see if we have any questions and for some final comments.
Thank you, Sue and Kendra. That was a nice, short and sweet, I think under 30 minutes for all of that. So fantastic. Thank you. We do have a couple questions coming in. And then again, for everyone online here, as a reminder, for anything that we don't get to today, we will be sure to have one of our team members follow up with you. And then again, as you are listening to some of these answers or asking questions as well, we're going to throw a survey link in the chat box. We love your feedback. It helps us improve upon what we're doing. So please go ahead and do that. And then let's see, one of the first questions we can start with. I know I saw this come in as well, but maybe just so everyone hears and sees it. Sue, can you kind of go back and explain the term gross up for a disability plan, please?
Absolutely, yeah. So a gross up plan basically allows an employer to add income or actually gross up the employee's wages to reflect all or part of the disability premium. Then the disability premiums are deducted from the employee's paycheck on a post-tax basis, resulting in a tax-free benefit to the employee. So the term gross up, essentially grossing up the salary so that the benefit can be payroll deducted and then be tax-free. If the employer pays the premium, disability benefits are taxable. So it's a great way to get a tax-free benefit. The one thing I will note on gross ups is that the employer has to do it for everybody in the group. They can't pick and choose. So everybody gets their salary grossed up and it's 100% participation requirement on those plans.
All right, great. Thank you. Let's see. I think we have one for Kendra. What happens if an employee's occupation changes after purchasing the disability insurance coverage?
Sure. So for specifically group insurance, a change in occupation doesn't actually change the benefit as long as they're under the same employer. Now, if we're talking about someone had individual or they completely changed companies or completely changed industries, that's when it would potentially change. But if someone moved from like a program manager to a director, technical different titles, it's not going to actually change the benefits as long as they're under the same employer.
Okay, great. This is another one we had, so hopefully we can answer this. And maybe this is our favorite answer, it depends, but we had somebody ask if benefits are reduced if the employee has PTO being paid while on disability? Again, that might be a plan by plan basis, but figured I'd let maybe Sue, you might have some insight there.
Sure. Yeah. So, it's very common for group disability policies to have other income offsets. Things like Social Security disability is probably the most popular one. But yes, if an employee is receiving PTO, vacation time, any kind of salary continuation, that is something that will be integrated from the benefit. There are some contractual provisions that allow an employee to collect up to 100% of their income before we'll start offsetting, but it just depends on the circumstances and the product type. But generally speaking, PTO and sick leave would be offsets to the disability benefit.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Let's see. Another question is, can you confirm if disability would be on the same bill as all other lines of coverage?
Yeah, so I can answer that one. Yeah, so if the Hartford product is sold through Beam, yes, we will include the disability coverage on the same invoice that they have for dental, vision, life. All of our other supplemental health products is all consolidated billing. Great feature and advantage for employers, to have it all on one platform, one invoice.
I think we have time for just a couple more questions. Here's another one, maybe for Sue. I'm not sure. You can hand off to Kendra if we think. Do we need a separate contract or appointment to write the disability?
Yeah, great question. So in order to sell the Hartford disability products through Beam, it does require a Hartford appointment. However, for brokers who may already be appointed with Hartford, it would only require that they have a BAA business, I guess, associate agreement on file with Beam already. So if it is kind of a nice feature that if you're already appointed with Hartford, you can sell the products through Beam as well. And then the first part of that question was around what contract, or did I answer both parts of the question?
I think so. The full
Okay.
question was, do we need a separate contract / appointment to write the disability? So
Okay, just
we,
the
yeah,
Beam BAA. Yep, that's it.
yeah. Okay. Going back here, we have another question that popped up. I think we went over this in our plans, but just to refresh now that we've gone through so much information, does Beam have any STD, LTD solutions for groups over 100?
Not at this time. So we are limited to groups of 100 eligible employees and below. Can't say what the future holds, but at this point, it's 100 is the limit.
Let's see if we have one more here. I know we have lots of questions, but I want to get us wrapped up. Can our Beam rep help us with getting appointed with Hartford?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was an easy one. That was a softball.
Yeah. Our Beam reps are your kind of, primary point of contact for any questions, whether it's appointment, product related, quoting. Yeah, absolutely. They would be able to help and assist.
Okay. Do you have it in you for one more? I think I see a good one here, and then we can get wrapped up for the day. Okay, just for someone who joined a little bit late, can we just do a little refresher on the definition of disability? Moved around on my screen here. Whether it's the loss of duties or earnings, or loss of duties and earnings.
Yes,
like
the
that.
and or definition. I knew that would come up. So under short-term disability, it is own occupation. If you can't perform the material duties of your own occupation and you have an income loss of at least 20%, that's short-term disability requirement. So it's and. Under long-term disability, it is also an and, except you have to have the loss of at least one or more duties. And during the elimination period, it's actually an or definition. You don't have to have the loss of income. But after the elimination, then you do have to have both. So it's kind of a hybrid. It's not a definite and or, it's kind of an or in the beginning and then kind of moves to an and. And if whoever asked that question needs more information, please reach out to your sales rep and I can give you the actual contract definitions.
Great. All right. I know we have a handful more questions, but I'm not sure that we're going to have the time to get to all of them. But we are going to make sure that we get these over to our team, our reps, and have them reach out to each one of you. So we're going to go ahead and get wrapped up for today. Again, short and sweet, just about a half hour. Thank you all for attending. We had a lot of great questions. We still have so many more that we're going to work through and get out to you. And don't forget to do the survey for us if you have a chance. And as stated at the beginning of this webinar, we're going to send out the recording within the next couple of days to everybody who registered. So thank you all again. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Kendra. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you all soon at the next one.